Okay, you know the drill, right? It's 10 o'clock at night, you are absolutely buzzing with motivation, and you lay out this perfect, ambitious plan for the person you're going to be tomorrow. But then that alarm clock screams, and that person is just gone, vanished. Instead, there's this tired, resentful stranger who wants nothing to do with your amazing plans. So why does this happen? Why do we constantly betray our own best intentions? Well, today, we're going to solve that mystery. All right, let's meet our test subject for this whole thing, Alex. Or maybe I should say, the two Alexes. Over on the left, you've got 10 p.m. Alex. This guy is a hero, right? He's the architect of a better life, just fueled by pure ambition. And then there's 6 a.m. Alex. He is exhausted, completely overwhelmed, and he looks at that beautiful plan not as a gift, but as this impossible list of demands from some cruel tyrant. They've got the same name, sure, but they are worlds apart.
So this is where it all starts, at 10 p.m., in the quiet of the night. This is the moment of creation, that magical time when the promise gets made.
As his day is winding down, Alex's brain gets this powerful hit of dopamine. You know that feeling? It's that chemical rush of motivation, of reward, and suddenly anything feels possible. All the tiredness from the day just melts away and is replaced by this super clear vision of the disciplined, successful person he knows he can be. The guy feels totally unstoppable. And with that rush of invincibility, 10 p.m. Alex cooks up this absolute masterpiece of a plan. I mean, just look at this schedule. He's going to be up at 5, no snoozing, an intense gym session, a healthy breakfast, an hour of studying. He's even going to start work early. This isn't just a plan, it's like a declaration for a whole new life, and it's written by a guy who feels like he can do literally anything.
But, as we all know too well, night eventually becomes day. That dopamine starts to fade, the sun comes up, and with that harsh morning light comes, well, the betrayal.
And the collapse, it is swift and it is total. At 5 a.m., the alarm is just this distant, hateful noise, super easy to ignore. By 5:30, that snooze button has become Alex's only friend in the entire world. And by 6 a.m., that grand vision from 10 p.m. Alex is just a forgotten dream. The whole thing falls apart before it even has a chance to start.
And this is where it gets really, really interesting. Check out the feeling here. 6 a.m. Alex doesn't feel like he's letting himself down. It's weirder than that. The plan, to go to the gym, to study, it feels like this heavy burden that was forced on him by some other person, a stranger, who just doesn't get how tired he is.
So this brings us right to the heart of the mystery. Why does this happen? Is Alex just lazy? Does he just lack willpower? Or is there something way deeper going on here, something neurological that explains why the motivated person from last night feels like a completely different human being this morning? To get the answer, we have to stop looking at Alex's to-do list and start looking inside his brain. Because it turns out the reason for his failure isn't some character flaw, it's actually a feature of how we're all wired.
This is the key that unlocks the entire puzzle. Some really groundbreaking research, like the stuff from Hal Hershfield at UCLA, has shown this incredible fact. When you think about yourself in the future, your brain doesn't actually register that person as you. It processes your future self using the same neural pathways it uses to think about a completely different person, a literal stranger.
And there's a name for this phenomenon, temporal self-displacement. It perfectly describes what Alex is feeling at 6 a.m. He feels like the plans were made by someone else, because, neurologically speaking, they were. He is literally disconnected from his past self.
Brain scans prove this, and it's pretty wild. So on the left, you can see that when you think about your present self, a part of your brain called the Medial Prefrontal Cortex, think of it as your self-reflection hub, it lights up, it's super active. But now look at the right side. When you think about your future self, that same exact region deactivates. It just goes quiet, the same way it does when you think about somebody else.
Okay, so what does all this brain science have to do with Alex and his battle with the alarm clock? Well, let's connect the dots.
So here it is, the big reveal. The mystery is solved. Alex doesn't just feel like two different people. In a very real, neurological way, he is two different people. The guy who made the plan at 10 p.m. is a total stranger to the guy who has to carry it out at 6 a.m.
This changes everything, doesn't it? 10 p.m. Alex wasn't making a pact with himself. He was writing the super demanding, difficult list of orders for a stranger he'd never even met. And let's be honest, if some random person woke you up at 5 a.m. and demanded you go run on the treadmill, you'd probably tell them to get lost too. This isn't a failure of willpower. It's a failure of empathy for a stranger. So if treating his future self like some rookroot who has to follow orders is basically doomed to fail, neurologically speaking, what's the solution for Alex? Well, the answer is to change the relationship entirely, from a dictatorship to a friendship.
Just look at the contrast here. The old way, planning for that stranger, is all about burdens and demands. It's an all-or-nothing marathon. But the new way, the one that works with Alex's brain wiring, is about helping a friend. So instead of demands, 10 p.m. Alex can think in terms of favors, a little assistance. Instead of a marathon, he just needs to help his tired friend get a simple 10-minute head start.
And this brings us to a super practical strategy for Alex, one that comes right from the neuroscience, the 10-minute rule. Why 10 minutes? Well, because you wouldn't ask a stranger for an hour of intense work at the crack of dawn, right? But you might ask them for 10 minutes of help. It's a reasonable favor. It acknowledges the reality of 6 a.m. Alex. He's a tired person who needs a hand, not a hero who needs a massive challenge. And this is the real takeaway. The job of 10 p.m. Alex isn't to design some perfect, grueling day. His job is to do one small favor for the tired friend he knows is showing up tomorrow. Maybe he just lays out the gym clothes, or, puts a book and a coffee mug on the counter. He's not forcing a marathon on a stranger. He's just making it a tiny bit easier for a friend to take that very first step. It's a social strategy, not a productivity hack. And that leaves us with this final thought. The science here is pretty clear. The person waking up in Alex's body tomorrow is, to his brain, a different person, an acquaintance, a stranger. So when he makes his plans tonight, he's really got a choice. Is he going to be a tyrant, handing that stranger an impossible list of demands? Or is he going to be a friend, offering a small, kind gesture just to help them get started? That choice? Well, that choice makes all the difference.